Okay, so for these problems, it's usually a little easier to find the points, and a lot of times they're going to be the x-intercepts. Not all, a lot of times, all the times. With this type of problem, you're going to get the x-intercept. So the x-intercept is whatever makes the parenthesis equal to 0. In this case, it's 3. In this case, it's -5. Now I'm going to write those points down right away. 3, 0, -5, 0. And I'm going to plot them. 1, 2, 3, 3, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5, 0. And now to get my vertex, to get the x-coordinate, we take an average of the x's. 3 and -5 is -2. So an average of the x's is -1. So the x-coordinate of the vertex is -1. Now when we plug it back into the equation, we get -1 minus 3, -1 plus 5, -1/4 times -4 times 4. Well, the double negative makes it positive. -1/4 times -4 is 1, and 1 times 4 is 4. So the y-coordinate is 4. -1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now it should make sense. My a term is negative, that this opens downward, and it actually opens a little wider, so it has vertical shrink, if you remember that. But this is what I'm looking for. And you just need to give a rough sketch of this vertex, of this parabola. You don't need to get any other points. You don't have to make it perfect. It should be going downward, and it should be getting wider and wider as we go down. Try and avoid drawing straight lines. You don't want straight lines here. Second one. Make this graph just slightly smaller so we can all fit it in. Yep. Okay, so the vertex we'll get to in a second. What makes this equal to 0? 8 and 6. So therefore the x-intercepts are 8, 0, and 6, 0. Right away, I'm going to plot them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My vertex, the x-coordinate is going to be an average of the x's. So it's 7. And then I plug that 7 in. 7 minus 8, 7 minus 6. 2 times -1 times 1 is a -2. So my vertex is going to be 7, -2. So 7, -2 is right here. And this goes up with vertical stretch. And obviously it's going up because the 2 is positive. So before I can get my focus and directrix, I think it's a good idea to establish what your vertex is. In this case, it's -2, 4. -2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's a -3. The a term is negative. So it opens downward. I don't care if this is an exact graph or not. I'm drawing this graph as a reference point so I know my focus is somewhere here and my directrix is somewhere out there. Okay? Which means when I find my P, I'm going to subtract it from the y-coordinate of the vertex to get my focus, and I'm going to add it to the y-coordinate of the vertex to get my directrix. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that a term, and I need to know a equals 1 over 4p. So -3 over 1 equals 1 over 4p. We cross multiply. -12p equals 1. Divide by -12, divide by -12, and my p equals -1/12. From there, okay, I'm going to rewrite the vertex. The vertex was -2, 4. So if my P is negative 1/12, that means the focus is inside the parabola and it's going to be downward. So it's going to be, I change 4/1 and I subtract 1/12. Now to subtract fractions, you need a common denominator. So I multiply the top and bottom by 12. 48/12 minus 1/12 is 47/12. That becomes the y coordinate of my focus. The x coordinate stays the same. It's -2, 47/12, and do not be shocked that you get a fraction. For the directrix, it's y equals. Not a point, it's a line. In this case, we go the opposite direction. It's 48/12 plus 1/12. So that's 49/12. And that's my directrix. Now the second one, it's actually easier when the a is a fraction. My vertex is 1, -1. Oops. My vertex is, one day I'll get it. My vertex is 1, -1. So 1, -1 is right here. It's a positive a term, so we're opening up. Which means what? My focus has to be somewhere in here, and my directrix has to be down there. So once again, my vertex is 1, -1. My a term is 1/32, and that equals 1/4p. Cross multiply, 4p equals 32. Divide by 4, divide by 4, my p equals 8. Since my focus has got to be inside the parabola, we're going up. It's my y coordinate of my vertex plus 8. -1 plus 8 is 7. Okay, so we add to get the focus, therefore we subtract to get the directrix. -1 minus 8, -9. And honestly, we're using it so much. At this point, we really should know it. I'm a fan of putting the vertex in separately. That way you don't mix it up. So it's x minus 4 squared plus 7. And obviously, when I put my final answer in, I got to put that in as well. Okay? The x and y, I get my given point. So 2 equals a, -3 minus 4 squared plus 7. And now I'm just doing the math. -7 squared plus 7. -7 squared is 49. You subtract 7 on both sides. -5 equals 49a. And you divide both sides by 49. So my a is -5/49. I know it's an ugly answer. Who cares? We're literally just plugging it in. I like to write it as f of x. If you want to write y, that's fine. -5/49, and you have to plug your vertex back in, and you have to make sure you square your parenthesis. If you forget to square the parenthesis, we have a word for that. It's called wrong. Don't forget to put that square there. Second one, same deal. And I'm always going to start out with y equals a x minus h squared plus k. Then I'm going to put my vertex in. X minus a -2 is plus 2. Minus 5. Then I'm going to put my point in. 13 equals a. 1 plus 2 squared minus 5. 1 plus 2 is 3. I said plus 5 by accident. I haven't spoken. Minus 5. 13 equals 9a minus 5. We add 5 to both sides. We get 18 equals 9a. Divide 9, divide 9. My a equals 2. And then we got to put back in. F of x equals 2. X plus 2 squared minus 5. We got to put that vertex back in. Okay. So when they're asking what the high point of something is, you're talking about a parabola that goes like this. You're looking for this point. The y coordinate is the height. The x coordinate is how long it takes to get there. I would find the x coordinate first. Negative b over 2a, which is simply negative and then 96 over 2 times negative 12. Negative 96 over negative 24, and that's 4. So my x coordinate is 4. It's going to take me 4 seconds to get there. And then I plug that time in to get my height. So we end up with negative 12 times 16 plus 96 times 4 plus 70. Negative 12 times 16, before I screw that one up in my head, let's go to my trusty calculator. Negative 192. 96 times 4 is 384, plus 70. So negative 192 plus 384, which is 192, plus 70. Our height is 262 feet. That's our answer. Our second one, same deal. We just find the vertex. There's no C term there. Doesn't matter. Negative 360 over 2 times negative 30. Negative 360 over negative 60. That means it takes 6 seconds to get there. And then I plug that in. Negative 30 times 6 squared plus 360 times 6. I cannot stress this enough. You've got to do the exponent first. So it becomes negative 1,080 plus 2,160, and that equals 1,080. So the height would be 1,080 for my height.